All right. So we're gonna take this in a sort of chronological fashion. We're gonna start with the multiverse twist because that was the twist of the season. Then we're gonna talk about Suri and Jared, and that was another big twist of the season. Then we're gonna talk about the jury, the 7-person jury, stuff like that, and the overall casting. And then we're gonna talk about the biggest flaw in Big Brother. And I have a lot there. So starting with the multiverse, my overall feeling is eh. Um, like it wasn't really something that I would like look forward to for a twist. It wasn't really something that I feel like impacted the game like crazy. At the beginning, it was kind of fun, but then it slowly lost steam and it died down. And then, like at the end, like I was like, "This is still happening." Like I forgot completely about this, and I feel like we even saw that to the extent with the final three, like in that final and then the second HOH comp of the three, this part two, where they had to like sort the comps by the multiverse. Like even Jag forgot about the multiverse. Bowie Jane forgot about the multiverse. It was just something that was like really boring and forgettable the later we got into the season, and that's a mark of a bad twist, in my opinion. Um, in terms of because the multiverse twist also created the invisible HOH, and the other one where like you can like say no to the eviction and they're in the house and that's saved to Jag. Um, I think both of those, like, yeah, don't bring those back. The Invisible HOH was terrible, like, straight up. That was one of the worst twists I've seen. The Saving Eviction HOH one, that one is like, I don't want that back anymore, but I don't. I think if they are going to bring it back, um, I'd be open to it if they do it in a better way. I think that way being, don't have the don't have America vote on who they want to play. Have everyone play in the house. I think that would create a lot more drama, a lot more he shed, she shed. I think that would also give a lot of America like the person they want to play, the person they like watching, they want to see them play it. And I know the person I voted for, he didn't play. Um, so I think that would be if they are going to do something like that. I think they need to just have everyone play, kind of like they did in Big Brother 20. But yeah, overall my feeling was, it's boring, forgettable, kind of weird. um, Secondly, the Suri and Jared twist. I don't think this was good at all either. It seemed lazy. It sort of seemed like they realized the multiverse twist was either weird or bad, and they were like, "Oh crap, we need something else." So they realized, they realized, oh, we casted Jared Fields. Let's get Suri. It sort of seemed like a very last minute lazy twist that was not fair to the house guests and also impacted the viewing enjoyment as a viewer. Unfair to the house guests in the sense where in the finale, we saw Felicia and America and Corey all say something along the lines of, "Oh, Jared was related to Suri. Like, how was I supposed to do anything about that?" Um, it unfair in that way. It gave Jared and Suri an unfair advantage. It gave everyone else an unfair disadvantage. And overall, I think it was poorly executed. Um, I like the idea. They've done it in the past. But if something like this is gonna happen, there needs to be a way where the other house guests can figure it out. Um, in the sense where maybe it's like on one of the newspapers on the wall. Maybe one of the sentences is like, two of the house guests are related this season. Where maybe it's something like that, something super tiny on the wall of like a competition or on the wall of the house, like something super tiny where it might get noticed, and if it does, it could be create chaos. But if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. It's not the main twist of the season. I think that is where they did wrong on this one. They really relied on this being the main twist, and it just didn't have the oomph to make it the main twist of the season. We even saw that when Jared left, the twist went away. And yeah, like that was the whole twist, but that's a mark of a bad twist. If somebody gets voted out, and then the twist is gone, because that person got voted out, then it's not a good twist. Additionally, if there was a way for the house guests to figure out that two house guests are related, maybe after Jared got voted out, somebody would find the writing or find the painting or whatever it was that they chose to do. And all of a sudden, Jared's gone, the twist hasn't been talked about in a few weeks, but all of a sudden, it's brought back up again because somebody found it. And now everyone's speculating and there's mistrust everywhere. I think that was a huge miss on production's part, just throwing Suri in, not telling anyone, not giving anyone a chance. And maybe they did give him a chance, maybe they didn't find it, but I think as an audience, we should know if there's a chance that they can find it. That way, even when Jared is gone, we're still like, oh, they're in the bathroom. The twist is right there. Maybe they'll find it. Stuff like that. I think it was lazy, unfair, and really impacted the nature of the game and impacted the enjoyment of a viewer in general. I don't like the 7-person jury. I like the 9-person jury. Jared and Nicole would have been in the jury, and I feel like they impacted the game so much that they should get a say in the winner. So I hope to bring back the 9-person jury. And this cast was good. I have no complaints about this cast. It was good. I like having more older people, I like having more young people, more diverse cast. It was great. Now, my biggest problem with this game, with Big Brother in general, was very emphasized in this season. And it's the way the game works. Big Brother needs to change. This second half of the season, once Corey left, was boring. I could have stopped watching when Corey left, skipped probably 12 episodes, gone to the finale, and would have been fine. I wouldn't need to look back and watch how people got evicted. It would have been it's super predictable and boring, and as the season gets later into the game, I lose interest, and that's a problem. I think one of the ways that they can change it to make it more equal, is the challenges. It was a great move on Jag and Matt's part to get rid of the physically and challenging strong, that way they can dominate at the end. That's a great strategy. But that doesn't mean the challenges are too focused on equality and not equity. If you remember the veto competition during the double eviction, where I think America left, where they have to run to the pit, go through all the balls and try to find like the giant foam balls that you played dodgeball in middle school, and then they have to run back, they have to reach over the glass and then drop it into a tube. If you play it back and look at where Matt's hand position is compared to the base of the glass versus like Suri or Felicia, it's like 6 inches. Of course Matt's gonna win. He has an unfair advantage. If that challenge were in Survivor, they would measure their arm span and all make sure that every person has an equal distance from the bottom of the glass or wherever the ball goes in to where their hands are. I think it needs to be more on equity, not equality, and that's just an example. Second problem with the challenges. Being a physical competitor is much better than being a mental competitor. Think about all the mental competitions. All of them had to do with running. All of them had to do with swinging and jumping and stuff like that. So, like, Felicia's not going to win the comics veto because she has trouble. She's older. She has trouble getting up and getting down and running and stuff like that. Even though it's a mental comp, Jag or Matt won because they can handle it better. Think about the most exciting competitions. Every single one was when they were all in a box and it was like a mental competition where it had nothing to do physically. There were so many more physically involving comps that it's not even worth it to be a mental beast because it's going to be stompered by the physical comps. And that's a problem. They need to equal it out. Finally, they need more puzzles. There's a reason why every Survivor competition has a puzzle. It's because they realize that they need to separate the physically strong from the mentally strong. It needs to equal out. Big Brother does not do that. It's either just physical or just mental. And oftentimes the mental involve physical. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the challenges. Secondly, the game's too long. It feels like we're being dragged into the finale because they're being dragged into the finale. They need to shorten the gameplay as we get closer to the end. It needs to get faster. They can shorten it. I think they should shorten it from 100 days to like 50 to 65. The gameplay needs to speed up as we get closer to the end. That'll make it more exciting. They need to cut an episode. 3 episodes a week is way too much to keep up on. There's so much filler that I think they can get the same thing across 2 episodes a week. Just 3 episodes is too many. This one's gonna be a shocker. No more live filming. They shouldn't be like. You should then like no live feed stuff like that. Like they should do it more like Survivor where they film it all one session, and then they release it all in one session. And maybe if they wanted to do the live feeds, maybe they could like I don't know, time them up or something. I don't know. I'm sure they can figure it out. This allows for more properly editing. They can downplay anything bad, like with the whole Jared situation and the one guy who left, and they can upplay anything good. Like Felicia was great. Cirie, when Jared left, was great. The whole Matt and Jack bromance was great. They can upplay that more and downplay the bad stuff. Finally, there needs to be less power to the HOH. I think right now, Big Brother is broken in the sense that very rarely, maybe one time this season, the person that the HOH wanted to go home did not go home, and that was in the final 5 with Matt. There needs to be a way where the players that don't have HOH can impact the nominations in some way. That could be something as simple as like whoever wins the veto also chooses the replacement nominee. That way, if they are against the HOH, they can put up who they want, rather than whatever. And it allows for a better. It takes away some of the risk in the veto, in the sense where it's like, oh, I have the veto, but I don't want to take my ally down because he could put up my better ally. Well, if you have the veto and you're taking someone down, you should decide who goes up. I think that's a simple way that can be fixed. Another one, take away the option to keep nominations the same. Like, having the veto used every week is going to change the nature of how people nominate, how choose the nominations, how they choose their target. It's going to switch up the nature of how people play the veto. There's going to be no more throwing because all of a sudden you could be backdoored at any given week, and it's actually serious. It downplays the use of a pawn because the veto is going to get used. People all of a sudden are less afraid to get nominated, because there's a chance they could be taken down, and they know it's going to get used. Finally, this one might be a little controversial. I think if you're on the block come eviction night and you survive, you should not be eligible to be nominated. You can be backdoored, but not nominated. I think that'll take out some of the idea where it's like, oh, Felicia was on the block this week. I don't want to get blood on my hands. Let's just put her up as a pawn. It's gonna completely get rid of that aspect of the game. It'll make the idea of winning HOH more strategical. Oh, what do I do? Oh, I can't nominate this person this week because they were a pawn last week. Oh, stuff like that. Finally, the finale needs to be reworked. I think more specifically, excuse me, finale needs to get reworked. Specifically, the part where they ask them the questions. It needs to be an open discussion. Corey said on his Instagram that they didn't vote for Matt because Matt didn't own up his game. But at the same time, there was no... They never gave Matt a chance to own up his game. Additionally, it encourages lying. Like, if you're going to be in the final two, why tell the truth when you're going to get asked 4 questions? And you can just lie and just say, oh, no, I'm right. Oh, I'm right. And we saw Jag do that, and that's smart. But I think if you add and make it a 9-person jury and you make it an open discussion, Jags would have gotten caught in those lies that he said. I think he probably still would have won, but there's a world where Matt wins. Just get the whole thing open. If you lie, you should get caught in a lie. Everything should be open for discussion, kind of like Survivor. I think that's everything I have. It's a bit longer, which is why I posted on YouTube. So if you're still here, shout out. But yeah, overall, I think I would give this one a 5.5, maybe a 6 out of 10. The pre-jury was great, but like I said, the jury phase was boring. So yeah.